I'm going to be very honest. I know enough about SkySlope to be dangerous. And I am definitely like, this is an interactive training session. Don't be shy about asking questions. Let me know what you want to know. I'm going to show you some things that I was excited to learn about, and some things like that. The very first thing I'm going to show you, first of all, I say this every WTF Wednesday. I try to make content to where you do not have to be with EXP in order to take advantage of WTF Wednesdays. So if you have friends outside of EXP, feel free to invite them. That's why I choose the content that I choose. Lots of other brokerages use SkySlope, take advantage of SkySlope. So the content that I choose, I make it to where it's scaled nationally and that, you know, anybody can take advantage of this training. Okay. The first thing, that being said, since we are all EXP here, I want to share a little announcement with you. Can you guys all see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I did just see this. EXP is saying that you need to update your SkySlope email address by, they didn't give us much notice, by the 16th. Okay, if you have your SkySlope email address associated with your personal email address, which honestly, I joined in 2018 and I never had it associated with my personal email address. I always used like my EXP email address to log into all things EXP just because it was like the easiest thing ever.
Yeah.
But it's telling you right now, if you do not change it over to your EXP email address, your sandy.burnett@exprealty.com email address, you're going to be locked out of your SkySlope account starting September 16th. So
beautiful.
You are damn lucky you attended my WTF Wednesday today.
Yeah, I got my hand slapped way back when I was like, I called EXP because I was having some problems with SkySlope, and they're like, you need your EXP email address. I said, oh, okay, go ahead and fix it. And they fixed it. So yeah.
I mean, honestly, apparently it was optional. And so optional until September 16th, 2022. So I found that announcement on Workplace and I was like, well, good content for our training. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you all as an announcement right away. The second thing is, again, since we're all with EXP, I wanted to show you how I 100% of the time log into SkySlope. For some reason, whenever I start to type in SkySlope, it's like, damn it. You know how like the Messenger, I don't know if anybody else has a Mac here. I like how Messenger I can do, like it has that sidebar, but it'll give me it'll try to open up a message over there. And I'm like, no. Okay. So what I tell agents is expenterprise.com is no shit your home base for everything. Okay. You can, I'm gonna get rid of some shit over here just so like it's not all fucking cluttered. Okay. You can, I tell agents, you can get literally anywhere from expenterprise.com. If you ask me how to get to Design and Marketing Center from expenterprise.com, I can show you. If you ask me how to get to your agent numbers from expenterprise.com, I can show you. So sign in to EXP Enterprise. And using my Touch ID. When I scroll down, it has SkySlope here. It also has KV Core, and you know, I can check on my stock, all that other shit. SkySlope. So I go to SkySlope. And then here's where it's like hilarious because it actually, okay, now it's gonna let me do mine. But sometimes it has me log back in as my EXP Realty password, you know. So here's the SkySlope home screen, and I'll break it down Barney style. I don't mind doing that because I don't know everybody's level. And what I tell people is whatever your brokerage is, if you click this upper left hand logo up here, this will take you back to your home screen. So if you ever get lost and you're like, how the hell do I get back to where I was? This will get you back to your home screen. Okay. This is how you can check what you got going on. When it says 2 active, this means your listings. Obviously, it doesn't know how many active buyers you've got in your pipeline. I never put anything into SkySlope unless I have a fully executed contract, because it's going to drive those ladies nuts. It's going to be like, what the hell is going on with this file? What are you doing over here? So I don't put anything into SkySlope until I have a fully executed listing. I don't put anything into SkySlope until I have a fully executed purchase agreement. I don't put anything for rejected offers. They want you to send, they have a specific address that they want you to send rejected offers to, and it varies by state. And for instance, in Iowa, what we're supposed to do with rejected offers is we're supposed to email it to our managing broker or like IA whatever. And then Illinois has its own process. Florida has its own process. They just want a copy of it or a copy of the page 7 rejected, you know, seller rejected it if we have it. Okay. But we don't need to necessarily put it all the way through SkySlope and make I want to say the ladies, but I mean, there's like dude transactions. There's everybody can look through a transaction. Okay. So at a glance, what I like about SkySlope is it shows you kind of what you've got going on up here. Okay. Over here, when it says manage transactions, this can be anything from this is basically your pendings, as far as I'm concerned, your listing pendings and your buyer pendings. Okay. And then it's really self-explanatory. Create transaction means creating, I represented a buyer and now we have it under contract. And then create listing means I got a listing. Okay. And it really walks you through all the questions. How much did you list the property for? All these questions. Okay. You can really get into the weeds on tasks and reminders and checklists and things like that. And I'm going to show you a couple of tips and tricks when we get into it. Okay. So at a glance, does anybody have any questions right here? Okay.
I'm just taking notes as you're going. So,
all right, cool. I will say that working documents is something I hardly used to ever go in. And then I realized when I went to working documents and I went over to Office Docs, EXP or whatever company you're with has the ability to put in different docs. So the Express Offers part of EXP has some docs that they uploaded in here. There are some referral agreements, like the state of Iowa chose to put some referral agreements in here. Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana. What the hell is MS? Is it Mississippi? South Carolina, they chose to put a lease invoice in here. Like, look through here if you're looking for some forms before, you know, bothering people about a random form. It doesn't hurt to look through here really quick for a couple of forms. I see people asking for the W-9 all the time. Where's the EXP's W-9? All right, Sandy Burnett just showed you where the hell to find it. Okay, right here. And you could get there from expenterprise.com, right, guys? Okay, I gotta, Zero, be quiet. My dog's trying to bark at people as they're like walking by outside the window. Okay, and then one thing that if your brokerage or your state is really organized and really wants you to have a good experience, they can do a whole like buyer packet and have everything kind of organized for you and have every form if you want to pull it like that. It's just kind of really nice. You can have a whole bunch of forms and it's like page 1 of 2. Make sure you pay attention to that. And you can have all the forms that you need to pull. So make sure you're paying attention to which office versus the whole company that you're pulling from. Again, you can find like mentor program docs, everything like that. And then how do I back out of this again? Okay, your home base is just click this logo up in the upper left-hand corner. So I can click any of these. Okay, I can see my pendings here, see all the addresses. Again, you know, it's kind of cool. They put a button here. I could create a transaction from here. I can see my transactions or my active listings from here. I wonder if it would show me like pending listings here. Okay, yeah, so it would show me if I had canceled or pending, probably it would show me. No, because I have pending listings, so it's not showing me my pending listings. It would show me under like pending transactions. So that answers that question. So over on listings, it's only going to show me my canceled listings, pending approvals, and my active listings. Okay. Now let's talk about this. I'm a team leader, so I have lots of co-listings. Okay. And I can show you kind of what to do. I also have lots of experience with putting referrals in and referring agents in. I have lots of like experience with messy transactions, if you will. Also, I can tell you that I've not really put my own transaction in a long time, yet Sandy Burnett has tons of transactions in here, but it was never done from my account. I have done it the right way. I have an assistant who has an account who's tied into my account. EXP has that requirement if you're going to have an assistant that they not have access to your account, basically. So Karen has her own account and she's tied into my account and has her own login and everything, and she will create listings or pending transactions on my behalf and add co-lists and everybody else. So how this works is if you are creating a transaction, it basically looks I mean, exactly like this. 1, 2, 3, I guess I can just use my home address. If anyone wants to dox me. Okay, so this is probably what it's worth. Source, personal. Okay, let's talk about source real quick. Corporate referral, you're gonna put if the company sent you this lead. How do you know if the company sent you this lead? You're gonna know. You're gonna know if the company sent you this lead. They're gonna tell you, you owe this amount to so-and-so at closing. If it's a reload, you're gonna owe this amount to Serva, 41.5% to Serva, plus a 500 whatever processing fee. You will know if it's a company referral or a corporate referral. Okay. So if you have to sit here asking, it's probably not a corporate referral. Personal referral, that really just means like somebody in your sphere. Okay. So don't worry about like, oh, do I owe a referral fee or anything like that? This is more just for yourself. So I only put corporate referral if I'm owing a corporate referral, you know, like for reload purposes or something for like the company to track. So, and that's the same with office lead. Office lead, yes, and it has the star next to it. I would say yes, if it came through express offers, specifically, they're saying you owe us this referral fee because we gave you this lead. That's separate from I procured this myself and I'm using the express offers program. That's completely different. Okay. And that's reload, things like that. You will know EXP is very good at lead gen. If you actually take advantage of their programs, EXP is very good with lead gen, very lucrative with lead gen, and you will know if you owe a referral fee. So you'll select yes or no, and it usually does have a file ID attached to it, but usually the EXP corporate side of things will attach the file ID. They'll go into your SkySlope because you'll be in communications with them. They'll go into your SkySlope and put in the file ID. Self-explanatory, the acceptance date of the contract. Again, this transaction is for a purchase. So I'm buying my house. Office, this is going to show up for however many states that you're licensed in. Obviously, I'm licensed in these 2 states so far. So I'm going to select which office. And then this is the type of representation. It's going, you have to put this so that SkySlope understands what kind of checklist on the next page to assign to you. What do I mean by checklist? It needs to know what kind of documents that you need to turn in for compliance to know that we're compliant. And then auditors come in, and when they audit us, our shit's tight. So that's, everything has a reason, you know, and a purpose. Okay. When it says purchase slash tenant, listing sold slash landlord, it doesn't mean, it kind of screwed me up in the head. Like, I was like, which one, what? It really means like either or, and they kind of meant like, it's going to be the same set of docs if it's a listing or a lease and this and this. So once I got beyond that, and I'm like, it's a purchase. Okay, it's a purchase. I'm selecting this. So, or it's dual agency. I'm selecting this. So once I got beyond that and I selected, okay, it's a purchase, and got beyond all these, you can be right, or you can get through the freaking SkySlope file. You know what I mean? So there could possibly be better ways to do things, but just so long as you know the way to get through the SkySlope file and the way that your state prefers it, just get through it. You know, make everybody's life easier, including your own. So if it trips you up at first, just don't worry about it. Oops, I forgot to select Iowa. So now that changed a few things, you could see that it went through like a little change. And then it changed my whole checklist options. So I'm going to do QCAR pending because I'm in the Quad Cities, and I'm special because I get my own Quad Cities checklist, which I pushed very hard for. Okay, closing date is obviously into the future. Acceptance date was today because I put my SkySlope stuff in right away. Okay, and then our MLS number. You can tell I've like demoed shit before because it's like, how many zeros do you want in here? Okay, so on this page, obviously there's a ton of crazy shit. I'm going to add a co-buyer agent just for the sake of argument, so you guys can kind of see how this is about to work. I'll add like my agent, Tony Lorzell. Actually, do I have to look them up first? Let's see how this works. Yep. So you'll search for the agent, save the co-agent, and then the source is sphere of influence. And then before I hit next, does anybody have any questions on how to find any of this information, why I selected any of this information, what any of this information means, or anything? Now's your chance to ask anything.
For the co-agent part, if you have a referral to another listing agent or another agent anywhere, do you put that in there
Not
at
yet.
that time, or is there a different screen for that?
Yep, that doesn't come yet. This is only if somebody is on that purchase agreement with you.
Okay, just checking.
Yep, nope, that's a good question. Yep, that's only if like they have agency as well with that client and things like that.
Okay.
Yep. Anybody else? The checklist stuff used to really screw with my head. That was the biggest thing. I'm like, what? That is way too many options. But really, it was for your own benefit, because on the next screens, or not the next screen, but when it comes to the checklist, so many docs are required versus not required. And they really wanted to loosen up some of the regulations on what's required versus not required. So I understood why they gave us so many options to select the correct checklist. So that's why they ended up making this so painful up front, was to avoid the amount of documents that we needed to submit later. Okay. And then down here for office lead, does anybody have any questions on like office lead, yes or no? Because that's kind of weird too. Okie doke, moving on. Oh, I go, oh, because I'm from the Midwest. Okay, so I hit next. Now here's the thing. You might be tempted to start putting in a bunch of fake information just to get through the file. If you start off your SkySlope career with bad habits, I guarantee you're going to keep these bad habits going and you're going to screw yourself. Because one of the coolest things with this company is all the previous companies that I worked at, I had to do my own commission disbursement or my commission statement. I had to like hand jam that myself and turn it into title and everything. Whereas EXP will do that for me and kick it out. But it's only as good as the information that I give them. And when they kick it out, they kick it out to the title companies and the attorneys that I put in here. So if I put like PF, like in the Marines, PFC Schmuckatelli is what we used to say. If I put dumb names in there, it's not going to kick it out to the right people. And then my commission disbursement authorization, i.e. the directions on how I get paid, which is very important to me. If that paper doesn't get to the right people, that sucks. So make it a part of your transactional process when you pen to file. What I do is I immediately text the agent. In Iowa, we still use attorneys. God bless us. I say, hey, what's the attorney you're using? What's the, or, you know, you just say like, what title company are you using? That's all you need to do, really, because that's really all you need to do. You have your lender. You already know the seller's name because you filled out the purchase agreement. You already know the agent representing the other side. You have all of that. Just shoot the agent a quick text. What's the title company information? And then fill this out the right way. And what's really cool is you can have a really awesome printout at the end. I'll show it to you and you can just staple that bitch to your file if you're a paper agent. I'm paperless, but I still keep it as a PDF in my digital file. It's super cool. Fill this shit out. You will not regret it. So seller's first name is real name. And then their email at email.com. And
If
you know
there are-
what?
Oh,
What's that?
sorry, go ahead. I was going to ask if there's more than one seller. Well, look.
Yep.
You
So,
make
yep.
to put
So
in.
what you do when there's more than one seller is you're going to save this. And then you're actually going to say new seller at the bottom.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. I've never seen that one come up.
Yeah. So you just scroll down and you go boop, new seller, and then you have more than one.
Okay.
And you can do as many as you want. And then right there is if you're saying the seller is a trust, company, or other entity, that's how you switch it over. And then so it'll show the check mark there, and then you're hitting next, and you're doing the purchaser, which is me, Burnett. I already got my email address, save. It wants my phone number. So it's going to like, obviously the buyer, since we represent the buyer, it's like, we need their phone number just in case. And so we're going to save that. And then down here, since we saved it, and then the co-buyer would be my husband. So I'll, for the sake of whatever, we'll add the co-buyer in. I'm sure he'll love that I'm like blasting his real phone number on here. I'm totally putting this on YouTube too. Okay, so now we've got the seller and the buyer. And then now here's the thing. So here's what really screwed me up in Iowa. So what pops up first is a title company, okay? And that is what normal people in normal states use, okay? But What we use are freaking attorneys, and I never understood that if you scroll down and scroll down and scroll down, you'd find an attorney's office. So finally, if you scroll down, you're going to find an attorney's first name, an attorney's last name, attorney's email, and the firm name. So what you're going to do is you're just going to fill in, if you use the title company, fill in the title company name or information. If you use an escrow company, California, fill in the escrow information. Attorney, same shit. So fill in whatever your state uses. Like, I don't know why that took me so fucking long to figure out, but it did. So that's what we're gonna do. First name, last firm, long name. You know, like the firm name's always long as hell. And then we're going to save that. And now it knows that we chose the attorney. So like we chose one of them. So it got us through that. And then next, and then the agent representing the other side, lesser agent, because I'm better. 555. And then, but they're still with EXP. But they're not as good as me. And then, so every time you get that green check mark, you know, you did it. And obviously, so if it's a cash deal, you don't have to put the lender stuff. You can just hit that check mark and move on. We can put in this lender information. You can check which type of loan it is. I'll just go ahead and make my life easier and put that it's a cash deal, save. And when we hit this submit button, we now have the last part of it, which is commission. We fill out our commission. Okay.
Oh, can you go back to the agent?
Sure.
The other agent?
Yep. It's under contacts.
So
Agent representing other side.
So if you put in an agent in the EXP system, does it automatically come up with their name, their company's address? Like, does it pull from that, or do you still have to insert all that?
No, it won't. And you know what? I really never put in addresses. I recommend, if you want to start the good habits, I would fill everything out. But one gripe that I have about SkySlope it has never saved all the information. So let's say I'm using the same attorney or the same lender repeatedly. It doesn't like autofill and keep filling in the information. So I would have to fill it in again and again. But that nice printout at the end would have all the information. I don't know why it doesn't do it like that. So I got kind of like over it and I stopped doing it. Down here is the extra things where you can put the home warranty and miscellaneous stuff as well. So again, don't forget there's that cool printout at the end. I'll show it to you. If you want that extra information for your file, you can use that and put that extra shit in there. On the commission part, are we all good? Anybody else have any questions so far? Now the cool part is,
Hey,
right
Sandy.
here- what up?
One thing I want to add, I don't know if it's just Mac or whatever, because I got that MacBook now. But when you start to enter a contact, if you've entered them before, this is helpful with the attorneys. It'll like offer to pre-fill in Safari. And that's super cool. Saves a little time to have to look up that phone number or whatever. It's already saved in there.
It does, but only my information. I haven't gotten it to fill in somebody else's information.
I don't know. Mine does it for attorneys, sometimes sellers and buyers,
Okay.
because I've worked with them before.
I wanna do a quick offline Zoom with you sometime and see about that, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, cool. So what I love about SkySlope is you have the email address specific to the email address or the SkySlope, the file, okay? And .loop, I actually love .loop way more. The only thing wrong with .loop is that it's owned by Zillow, okay? Now the thing that I hate about .loop is that their email is like this long-winded, like ridiculous email, whereas SkySlope's like makes sense. Cattail Lane 6363, it's so easy. Another cool thing that SkySlope has that .loop doesn't is you can only send PDFs to .loop. SkySlope you can send images to and other things besides PDF. So it's like super cool. So don't forget that exists. I'm gonna like speed this up a little bit because I want to show you a couple of other really cool things. Over here for personal deal, EXP allows, I think it's between 3 and 5. Somebody correct me if you know the answer. You're allowed a few personal deals a year. If you are uncapped, EXP collects a minimum or a maximum of like $500. If you are capped, I don't think EXP collects anything other than like the transaction fee of like $250 to like even $75 at the highest. But so
Andy,
you're allowed, what up?
it's 3 deals, personal deals a year,
Okay,
and the commission, they charge us $315.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so you get 3 personal deals a year where they're your deals. Don't have to pay shit, basically. And those fees are basically to pay your broker and your E&O and all that other shit. So you'll check yes if it truly is a personal deal. Down here, Alexa, this is where you enter the referral information. And if it is an EXP agent, so let's say you're referring, or like, let's say I sent you a referral. When you enter this information, this is where you're going to look me up. And I don't think, again, I don't even think that I'm going to pop up in here, but at least it'll find me, it'll know me. And it will, EXP knows to pay me. EXP finds me. So it's really like super easy and super handy. I just got paid on a referral super easily earlier this month. It was just super handy. It was awesome. So again, the W-9 form for anybody else, this is where anybody outside of EXP, this is where you upload it. If we're paying out to another company. Can anybody tell me why I would choose to refer to an agent outside of EXP?
Recruiting.
Agent attraction opportunity. So it's just strategy. It depends on what I want to do. I really do like the ease of using my EXP network and the ease of, I frankly trust EXP agents more. I love the ease of being able to find EXP agents a lot quicker. But there's something to be said for, I got more leads than I can handle and you ain't got shit. So do you need some help? It opens the door for a conversation. Okay. So that's something just to think about when you are referring out. And if you ever want help opening the door to that conversation, do know that you can bring me into that. Okay, now down here, since I added Tony Lorzell into this split here, this is where we talk about, is it going to be 90-10? Is it going to be 75-25? Is it going to be 50-50? This is, you have to split it in a way that it ends up to 100%. And if up here, it's an EXP agent, then all three of these must add up to 100%. I learned that shit the hard way. If it's not an EXP agent, here's how it's paid out. Realtor.com referral, like an outside referral, then an outside agent referral, then a team split, then a co-agent split. So if you ever want to know how something's like paid out and stuff, feel free to ask me, feel free to text me. Okay. So now that we've done commission, we're going to submit that. And I'm going to say no referral there. Submit. By the way, they're going to love me when I'm like, hey, can you guys just go ahead and go in there and erase this? I was just messing around in SkySlope. They're going to love me. Anyway, okay, so now here's our checklist. There will sometimes be occurrences where something is marked required, where maybe it's not required. And if you know your business and you know 100% it's not required, don't be afraid to put in a note saying, this is not required because XYZ, or I already did this in number 6. It was attached because of this over here. Okay. So it's okay to talk to the compliance department, and they're humans, they're looking shit over. Also, here's another thing to consider. When I joined in 2018, there were 14,000 agents. Now there's what? Did we hit 85,000? Like, holy shit. And they are hiring super quickly. And a lot of these compliance people are only as good as they're being taught. They're only as good as their predecessors are teaching them. They are not like experts yet. And so they're learning through the files that they're working on. Cut them a little slack, be nice to them. They'll pay you faster. Be nice to the people who pay you. And help them learn as well. Because it really, these forms, I mean, they're tough. They're tough. They're tough to learn. They were tough for us to learn, right? So it's okay to type notes like that and stuff. It's okay to even get into workplace chat. I mean, I call people through workplace chat, and I type people through workplace chat, and I'm like, hey, blah, 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 blah. Here's my thing about this form. Like, I don't think it's needed because of this. And I will, or I'll argue my case. I get very argumentative sometimes, but I mean, there are things. And we've grown so fast that they are training a lot of new compliance people. When states grow, they hire more people to make up for it and shit like that. So that's something else to consider. I want to show you guys, because a lot of you are in my dot loop or have a different forms signing system, and I'm not going to have a chance to show you all about like DigiSign or signing forms or anything like that. But I want to show you how I transfer all my forms from one signed platform to the other. Okay. Or how I have my assistant do it. Taking this listing, for instance, what we've done is for this one, for instance, we take these forms and we share them, and anything marked Sky. So the first name is the street, the last name is Sky. And what she did was she made the email address SkySlope. And then she marked it. And then you must attach it as a PDF. And then you share it. And then all of the forms that you check are going to be shared directly into the SkySlope. Once you're in that SkySlope, she's already assigned them all, but all of these, when I go into documents, all of these would show up. And what's really cool is the eyeball, if you just hover and you don't even do anything, I'm just hovering, you can preview these documents, which is really cool. And you can scroll and stuff. You don't even have to open them all the way. So I like that feature as well. But you can assign, you can see the title and assign it based on the title, which is cool. I just go all the way through and assign it based on whatever I need to assign it to. I'm not even in the checklist over here. I'm over in documents and I'm just going down the list, assigning it to what I need, what I know that they belong to, because I transferred them over from .loop and I know where they belong. So that was a tip and a trick that I wanted to make sure you all knew. Whatever, if you use a separate signing platform, whatever that is, name whatever email address, SkySlope, make that a name over there, transfer everything over, and then easily assign it.
So
and then, okay, now we have a Q&A period. Now I gave you 10 minutes.
So okay, when you're at .loop and you send over all those documents, all those signed documents, is that the landing spot is here under the documents section?
Yes.
Okay, and then when you go over to the checklist, when you click down for each thing, I didn't see how it worked.
There's another way to do it. You can actually go over to the checklist and you can grab, let's just say I had a document that I was going to attach called late letter. Okay, I can hit attach, and one of these, if they were called late letter, these are my 2 unassigned documents. I can go ahead and assign those.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if it did that.
Yep. Oh, I know what else I wanted to show you. This is the other thing I wanted to show you. This is what I was talking about, that cool printout. Download summary. How cool is that? Like at the end of your transaction, just to have a whole printout of all of your stuff. So at the end of this, or actually weekly, I have sometimes we don't have the information yet. And then weekly, I have my assistant audit the SkySlope files, go back and put in the correct information into the SkySlope files like down here. And then we have that later on. And saved in our files. Oops. Okay. What other questions? God, I think I did pretty good for not having touched SkySlope in probably like a year and a half.
Well, you were answering my questions as we went, so I think it was pretty perfect.
Okay, good. Because when you were like, oh, tips and tricks, I was like, oh shit. And then last night I promised myself that I was going to like go in and study a little bit. And I didn't have any time to do that. So
You can't tell. You did good.
thanks. Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody got any questions? I would like to like act like that I hate SkySlope, but I really don't. It's a great tool. It really is.
Hey, I will say one thing. You need to do a WTF Wednesday on lead gen with EXP. That'd be beautiful.
Oh, okay. I mean, I am always looking for topics to do. It is very difficult for me to come up with topics. So thank you for that.
There you
You can
go.
always shoot me topics.
Right, and we're all at different levels here at EXP. We may have all been agents for a while, but I'm only still here within my first month of EXP, so I'm still learning everything.
Right.
I'm gonna stop recording. Hang on. I always like forget how to stop recording right away. There we go.